Yeah, let's get into it. So just a bit about myself. I'm Clark. I'm the digital design lead here, working within HowToo for the past 3 years. Over these years, it's been exciting to be a part of the growth of the tool, as well as learning how to utilize its ever-growing features and functionality, working on a number of client projects in my day-to-day. So that's why I think today is very exciting because I know we have a range of different team members here in different industries. Again, feel free to drop who you are, what industry you're coming from. And yeah, hopefully you'll learn some hacks and I can guide you in some things you should consider and look out for when building and designing an e-learning course within HowToo, so we can elevate and take our design to that next level. So I just wanted to start with going on the concept of visuals. So visuals are an important aspect of e-learning because it communicates the key concepts and engages learners throughout the course. So about that, I just wanted to share a quick fact that I found. So according to neuroscientists at MIT, of all information transmitted to the brain, 90% is visual. So that's directly saying there that we process visual information much more efficiently than written. So in saying that, that leads to the point of why is visual design important to learning? So before I jump into this topic, I'd like to get some feedback and interaction from you guys and just gauge where you're all at with your confidence and experience around this topic. So I've actually got a poll, which I'll just launch. So that should appear on your screen. So we'll just, if you want to just select your response based off your understanding of visual design. So we'll just take a few seconds to receive some responses before we proceed. Completely new, teaching me the basics. So it looks like most people are somewhere in the middle, but they're keen to learn more, which is good. Some people are confident with the understanding of design. So I might just end that poll now, so I can see the results. So that's great. So from the poll, it's good to see everyone's different levels of understanding. So I hope from this webinar, I hope you can get some key takeaways that increase your understanding of visual design. So visual design attracts the attention of the learner to encourage greater engagement and retention. For example, good design means making content easy to digest. So learners are on our module to read through the content, so let's not make it hard for them to make out what's on the screen. Good design also involves careful consideration of each component on the screen. We've got to make sure that we're using the right interactions to display certain content. Well, lastly, good design is inclusive of different audiences and styles of learning. So again, an example would be, if we had a younger audience of learners, they might relate more to TikTok learning, for example, or even animations in different media, which I'll touch on in the next section of this webinar. So how do we go about creating beautiful looking but accessible courses? The first main way we can do this is by using custom themes to align your course to your company brand. So adding company brand to your courses helps to elevate your learning design and ensures consistency. So within HowToo, we have our own theme designer, which makes this customization of your theme so easy. So to give you a demo of that, so this is our theme designer dashboard. So we can easily create a new theme by jumping in. It asks us to name our theme. So I'm just going to name this Clark's Awesome Theme, for example. Click OK. So this is the main dashboard. On the left-hand side, you have all the features and functionality and the parameters which you can choose that determine the layout and the navigational styling and the colors of your module. And on the right, you see is your live preview of your module. So obviously it's got just dummy content and placeholder images, but that should just give you an idea of what it will look like when you apply it to your learning object. So let's dive in. So the first tab is about general. So you've got your navigational type. You can choose slides or scrolling. I'm just going to choose slides in this instance. Navigational styling, it's got different styles you can see. I'm just going to go with minimalist for this instance. Block styling, you can see that the square, minimal, rounded, or pill. I think I'm going to go choose pill in this instance. So you can see it's directly reflected on the live preview. You can see it's that rounded shape. The logo is really probably one of the first things I do when working within the theme, because obviously we want to align it directly to our brand. So HowToo makes it so easy. I can just upload a logo directly in. So this is just a sample. So I've just uploaded that in, and then that's come at the top. You can even do, alt text for accessibility, which I'll touch on in a bit. So I'll just do like a sample logo. And then you can add transitions in this section to do, the transition between screen to screen. So I'm just going to go smooth in this instance. So that's my general settings. Next section will be about colors, which that's probably one of the most, exciting sections for me, because you're able to change each component on the module itself. So you've got a color library. You can change the accent, the accessibility highlight, the text boxes. Then we have sections for, the interface. So the color choices around interface. So that's things to do with your nav bar and your progress bar, the buttons within that and the hover states. Then the blocks, you can change the color of the heading, the paragraph text and the links. And then the components as well. So the components are the things that are within each interaction. And then your feedback as well. So your feedback is for your questions. So there's a box which displays your color palette there. So to save time, I've actually gone ahead and gone through and created my own preset, which you can do yourself. So once you choose all your selections, you can save as a preset and adds it to the color library. So I've gone ahead and done that. So I've applied those colors from my branding to these components here, each of these components. And then the last section, which is also really helpful to elevate our courses, is about typography. Obviously, working with different brands, they have their own fonts and typography that we need to work with. So HowToo's makes it so easy to actually upload your own custom fonts if you want to. But to save time, I've actually gone ahead and uploaded my font, which is going to be the same as my logo. So I can go through, so in this instance, it's Gotham rounded. So you can see I can change the heading. I can change the paragraph text. You can see it change on the fly. Feature text, so feature text is actually, there's a feature text block here, which they'll change. And then you can even change the font size as well. So there's presets to make it larger, regular, or small. So I think in this instance, I'm happy with it just being regular. Once you've gone through all those parameters, you can preview your course here. Again, it just shows you, a demonstration of what it'll look like when you apply it to your course. So I'm happy with that now. So I'm going to go ahead, because it's sitting as a draft at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and publish my theme. I'm just going to hit published, and so it just publishes straight away like that. So when I click OK, it takes me back to the theme designer page. And now I can apply that theme to my learning object. So I've got a sample learning object or course that you have here. So I can easily, so now that it's published, I can just jump into settings, go to branding, and then there's my theme that I've published, Clark's Awesome Theme. So I can just click use. You can see it's ticked, and then I click X, and then it's applied to my module. So, and it's so great because the theme just applies globally. It applies to every single block within your course. So if I just preview my course, you can see those components that I chose within the theme designer have applied throughout the module. Cool. So the next way we can engage learners is by using mixed media. So this, in doing this, we keep our learners engaged and excited with mixed media such as photos, videos, and GIFs. Again, I know we have a mixed bag of team members here in different roles. And you're probably thinking, you know, how do I even get mixed media? So in regards to an image library of getting images, HowToo actually has its own image library. It's actually powered by Pexels, which is one of the best free online stock photo libraries online. So to just give you another demonstration of that, I'm going to jump back into my sample module. I have a block here where I need to upload an image. So you can see I have my placeholder image here. I can click on this and go to the media library. So HowToo's media library is here on the left-hand side. So you can see it auto generates just some random images. But then say, for example, I want something. So this course is going to be related to leadership and management. So maybe I can do management. So I can type in like a keyword. It'll auto generate some images from Pexels and then load it here. Now I can easily just click on one if I think I like that image, and I can use that image and insert it directly into the tool. So that's to do with images, uploading static images. For GIFs, videos, and animations, there are libraries online like Getty Images or Storyblocks, which have pre-built, videos that you can just download. You can even use Canva or Beyond to allow you to build videos, animations, and GIFs yourself, which you can then download from that platform and then upload it into the HowToo Media Library and upload it into your course. But now we're even in a more exciting period of time where we can even go beyond static images and dive into the world of AI. Obviously, that's a trending topic at the moment. So there's apps or there's platforms like Midjourney and DALL-E, which allow you to enter prompts that generate a graphic, which then we can upload and use within our course. So lastly, to create the perfect course, we need to make sure that it's accessible. So designing for accessibility ensures your course or your content, is inclusive to all learners regardless of their ability, location, or schedule. So I'd like to pause for another moment just to understand whether accessibility is important to you when designing your e-learning courses. So I've got another poll which I'll just launch. So that should appear on your screen now. So if you want to just take the next few seconds to enter in your response about how important accessibility is to you. So again, I can see mostly, everyone, majority is probably, you do your best to factor in accessibility, and the other majority is it's a top priority for you. So it sounds like you all have a good understanding of accessibility, and it is pretty important to include in our learning modules. But again, it's good to see, all the different levels. So thanks for all for sharing. But I hope my tips today are helpful. But we also plan to do another webinar entirely focused on accessibility. So that should give you more insight. So keep an eye out for that one. So I just end the poll. So with HowToo, again, it makes it so easy to check all the boxes and make an accessible course, as it has its own accessibility checker. I'm going to go back to my sample module. So there's there's a few touch points for your accessibility checklist. So this box normally doesn't come up, but if you click your dots and click check accessibility, it will scan your e-learning module and tell you the outstanding issues that you need to resolve in your course. You can actually click on these individually. For example, if I just jump into there, it also shows you on the editor mode, where it shows in the top right for each screen. So you can actually just go in here, include alt text. So it's saying, I can click that and saying include alt text for this image. So I can just do, Australian outback. And then it'll resolve that issue. And now that essentially goes away. Then I can just move forward. I'll just give you one more example. So ARIA labels for buttons, so ARIA labels for the hotspots. So this one is in regards to communication skills. So I can just, put communication skills in that label, and that resolves that issue. So there's a few touch points that, you can make sure you're covering all bases within accessibility. And even at the end, when I'm about to publish, or say if I'm ready to publish my course, and let's just generate an online link for now, it will check for accessibility, and then it will flag me and tell me if there's any blocks where accessibility can be improved. And then that just basically takes me back to the checklist, and then I can resolve those issues. So basically, the accessibility checker will tell you if there's anything to worry about. So now that we've explored some of the things that make beautiful and accessible looking courses, I think now is a great time to jump into the exciting part of the webinar and jump into a live demo. So for this live demo, we are going to be converting an existing e-learning asset to a beautiful and accessible module in HowToo using the practices that I just talked about in the previous section. So for the first thing that I'm going to show you is the existing learning asset that we are working for. So this is a PowerPoint. So this will just open up here. So it's just a PowerPoint that's revolving around cybersecurity. So I'll just flick through some slides. We've got an intro page that just looks like another introduction blurb. Next slide is about cyber attacks and the many forms of cyber attacks. It's listed in numbered bullet points. Next slide is about looks like a knowledge check. And then the last slide is just the feedback regarding that knowledge check question. So great, so I'm ready to start. So now we can just jump into HowToo. So I can just jump in here. So my main learning object page, this is how it looks. So then I can just quickly jump in and select new learning object. So if you're creating a new learning object, there are different methods. So you can use a ready-to-go course that uses pre-built courses, use a template, or you can start from scratch using single or multi-topic. In this instance, I think I'm going to choose a template. So HowToo is great. So it has pre-built categories and blocks, which you can select that have the interactions already laid out. So it helps you, build a course and has the interactions ready for you. So in this instance, I think I'm going to go with policies and compliance, and let's apply a principle. So I just click use a template. So by using a template, you can see it auto generates the blocks for this template. You're free to use as many of these, or you're free to use, you can delete some if you want. But I think it's a good starting point to help me build my module. So the first thing I'll probably do is just name my module. And the second thing I'll do is I'll apply the theme, which is what I showed you in the previous section. So we want to align it to our company brand. So I'm just going to go in. To save time, I've already created that theme, but you can obviously jump in yourself and create your own theme and then just apply it. I'll click use. And then that's already applied to my course already. And that was just a template, and I've already applied my company branding. Just to give you a demo of that, like you can see that all those elements that I've chosen in Theme Designer have been applied. Great, so the first screen from this PowerPoint is just like an introduction. So let's build that. So the first block in this template looks like it's just an image block, which I think it will work for what I need, just a standard intro block. So it's so easy to just copy content straight into each section in the editor. So, I could put it directly in the heading section. So I might even just do, welcome to our cybersecurity. The next paragraph section is about introducing our learning objects. I know from that PowerPoint, there's actually an introduction blog, which I can just directly copy and then paste into that section. And then I want to incorporate that image because I feel like that is a nice image. I think it still works. It just needs to be reworked in some way. So I can actually just save that image directly, which I have. And we have options. So you can actually, I can do it as a foreground image. So it's an image that's, you know, on the front, or I can do it as a background image. I think that image would probably suit being a background image just to have more, you know, effect. So I might even just delete that foreground image for now. It's going to give me a placeholder, but that just means that there's nothing in there at the moment. When you preview it, that's not going to appear. But now I'm going to jump into my background image. There's options with the background image. You can apply a background to all blocks, or you can apply backgrounds to just this block only. I only want to apply that image to this block. So I can now browse. My image that I got from the PowerPoint is here. I've already uploaded it to my media library. And I can just click that and use this image. So great, I can see that image already applied already, and that it's looking really good. But I'm still not happy just yet because I can see that this content box is overlapping like the main part of that image. So again, within HowToo, we have some layout options, which, you know, you can change the composition and like layout of the elements on that screen. So if I put the text on the left, then I can see that thing on the right. Obviously, that placeholder thing is in the way, but if I preview that, for example, you can see that now I'm happy with what I've created here. And you can see the vast difference and how easy that was just to convert, you know, 2 screens onto my PowerPoint into HowToo with my theme. It's got all the colors and the fonts and imagery. So just to give you another example on this PowerPoint, the next screen is about cyber attacks and the different forms. And they've just got bullet points for like the different forms of cyber attacks, so the 3. So let me go back to the main learning object page. Here we've got all the interactions again. So now I've done that block. You can actually go in and rename these. I'll just do this quickly. The introduction block. You can even change the descriptor if you want. So for that cyber attacks content, I think I can display that in a hotspot. I feel like would be best. HowToo actually has its own, you know, has a massive library of different interactions and engagements that you can choose. And then you can just choose whichever one based on how you want to display that content. So I know I want to do a hotspot, and I can see that there's a hotspot block here already. So I can even just drag this here, and that's going to be my second block. So that one was in regards to cyber attacks. So I might even just copy that heading, place it in here so I know. I might just delete that for now because I don't need it. And then I can just jump into that block. Again, let's just copy the content directly in. So my heading is about cyber attacks. This is maybe my introduction. So I can just chuck that straight into here in this paragraph section. There's a little introduction about maybe, I think it's good to retain this sentence because it's leading into the cyber attack form. So maybe I can just put that you know, as a little prompt that's leading into the hotspots. So I've got 3 hotspots already ready to go. So I can just click on these individually and I can insert the content directly into those overlays. So the first one would be about phishing. I can just directly copy the paragraph text, do the heading, and the layout's ready to go. With the images, again, I know I've talked about mixed media before. You know, I can even browse my library. I can choose something online, or I can source something online, upload it to my media library. Just to save time, I've chosen some already. So, you know, getting images revolving around that, making sure as well that I'm checking accessibility boxes as well. So I just know that that needs to have alt text. So I can just add alt text here for that image. Second one would be about malware. So I can just copy that directly. paste it in, paragraph, heading, and then again, I can upload some media and image to support that. In this instance, I'm like, I want something more than static. Maybe I can choose a GIF. So this is a GIF I've sourced online. Again, I can just choose that and upload that directly into that section. I might even just add the alt text for that as well. And then the last one is about DOS attacks, which is denial of service attacks. I can just copy that, do the same thing. And again, I think I like the concept of using something interactive as a GIF. So I found, oh no, sorry, in this instance, maybe we can use Midjourney. So that makes you, allows you to enter in a prompt and AI will generate an image for you. So this is one that I've generated from Midjourney online. Again, you can just download it from that platform, upload into HowToo, and then insert it in. So then I exit out of that and I'm like, that's all the content's in there now. Now I need just to change the images and the design of this page. So I need to change the hotspot image because obviously that's not relevant. I like the illustrative feel. So, you know, I can use images online. Something like isometric like this might work. I can just upload that. I can even rearrange these hotspots and move them to different locations if I need. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, that's really good. But I think I can do something with the background. So again, I might just upload something subtle to this block, something like that. And now I'll preview that and I'm done. I'm pretty happy with that. So now you can see all the content and all the mixed media that I've uploaded. So to save time, I've actually gone ahead and you know, completed the rest of that module. So you can see this is my publish online link. This is the intro screen that we built. This is the hotspot, the same hotspot that we built. You know, in the original PowerPoint, there was a question about what is the following of an, sorry, what is the example of this common cyber attack? So in HowToo, I've chosen a knowledge check, which has, you know, preset multiple choice, which I can enter in the content. So I can just choose, so the learner, sorry, can choose a response. I can submit that. And you can even enter feedback in as well, which is something that was here on that last slide. So the feedback there. Then I've even gone ahead and done more interactions. So about, you know, preventing attacks, I've used a carousel. You know, if we wanted to get some response from our learners, I could use a text entry block. And then that submits a response. And then I've just done a basic summary as well. So that's, I guess, one example I'll show you. So just to give you a better idea as well, I've got some other examples that I want to show you that of how we've converted, you know, existing learning assets. So, for example, this was a PDF that we were working for. You can see I've you know, changed my theme to match the content within the theme designer, and I've applied it to the module. This PDF was about working from home. So I've inserted the heading, the content, you know, mixed media image. So I think I used the Pexels library, the HowToo library in this instance. I was able to download the image and insert it. They had sections about topics to be covered. So I've chosen to represent this in the recording interaction, which you can select in HowToo. It makes it so easy to just copy the content in to your heading and then into each section. And then the last page was just about managing your time. And I've just done a click and reveal to break up the content as well, have it more engaging for the learner as well. So that's one example from how we converted PDF to a HowToo module. Second one would be from a face-to-face video, which was the existing e-learning asset. So again, you can see that I have built my own theme, different theme that I've applied. I've gone with the scrolling instead of the linear, which is left to right. So it's just the screens one under the other, so it has a more consistent flow. And so the content, and then in this instance, I wanted an illustrative feel, so I found some nice graphics. I've created a GIF with just something subtle, which I'm able to upload into HowToo. As I touched on, it was a face-to-face video, so we can have video blocks which retain the video, and we can reuse it repurpose it within HowToo as well, so we can still have those elements. I've chosen a hotspot block to showcase some policies and procedures. And then down at the bottom, I've just had another video block that showcases an animation that we could build in Canva, and then you could upload that into HowToo as well. Cool. So that I've shown you demo and examples, that I guess brings us towards the end of the webinar. But I guess the main takeaway that I hope you gather from this is that HowToo makes it so easy that anyone can create the perfect e-learning course. And I know, I'm a designer, but I hope that live demo that I've showed you shows you how easy it is. For example, you can use the custom theme designer to align it to your company brand, add the fonts, add the colors. You can easily upload mixed media to the course using HowToo's mixed library or a mix of other platforms like Getty or Canva to make those make those interactions more engaging. Or you can even use the accessibility checker to make sure that your e-learning is accessible, which is obviously an important part, I guess, to all of us, because based off the poll. So it's like, I guess it's good because it's these things that I pretty much do here in my day-to-day. As part of our Kickstarter package, it's interesting to see what existing e-learning assets we get and what come in, such as we've worked with outdated modules, PDFs, PowerPoints, and Word docs. And for me, it's exciting to take that same content and transform it into a newly designed learning module within HowToo. So if you ever need any help converting your old training material to visually appealing learning within HowToo, feel free to reach out to anyone in the team. But yeah, that basically concludes the webinar, and I hope everyone here is somewhat inspired and excited to start building and designing their own e-learning within HowToo. So I know we have a few questions lined up, so I might even throw to Siobhan to open up question time.
Absolutely. So we have one question from Leanne. Thank you so much. And Leanne says, what considerations are important when changing a deck built for in-person training to make it ideal for online viewing, live and evergreen? So I know we've kind of touched on that, but is there any other best practices you could add to your content from today?
Is that, am I able to, is that in the chat?
It should be showing up for everyone, I think. Can you see it?
Can't see that.
I'll just send it to you, Clark.
Yeah, if you can just send it to me. Cool. Yeah, so I've kind of touched on, I feel like, some of those points already. So we just need to, I guess, consider who, the learning audience is, because I feel like that dictates what interactions you use. As you can see in HowToo, I've used, different interactions for different things. So for example, a learner with a younger audience might be inclined to watch video as opposed to just seeing content that's just displayed on the screen. So I would say it would depend on the learning audience. And yeah, I think just making sure again that your e-learning module is aligning to your brand. And in terms of making it, ideal for online viewing, you just need to make sure. So if I jump into my course, you can actually just make sure that you check, we've got some responsive natures in here. So that just gives you the different sizes in terms of how you can view your course as well. So obviously I'm looking at a desktop because we obviously need to consider, you know, all devices. So, because, you know, people might be using those different forms. So as you do it, as I'm designing, I like to go through and make sure, you know, the content and the images, you know, are responsive, and it's looking how I want it to. HowToo makes it easy because, like, if you put something in a placeholder like an image, it's going to, you know, reposition it in how it should sit in that screen. You can see I've just gone from, you know, tablet or desktop tablet to mobile. So just making sure, you know, that content is easily viewable. So I like to go through each screen and just make sure that, you know, I can see, you know, all the content across all the devices, and just making sure that as well. I know image size as well is a big thing. If you can resize your images to have, you know, not be large, because obviously when you're viewing it online, sometimes, you know, it's got to load the image. And if it's some things like, you know, 10 megabytes, it's going to take, you know, a split second or a second or two to download. So trying to make sure that, you know, images are, you know, ready for web. You know, there's even platforms online like that you can use. This is just a free one. Like, it's just called Tiny PNG, and you can just, you know, chuck your images into there, and then, you know, it'll say a 5 megabyte image, it'll resample it to a, you know, maybe 200 kilobytes. So just, I guess it optimizes it a bit. But yeah, is that part of the same question?
No, that was perfect. Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
we
cool.
have one other question from Chantal, which was referring to when you were showing the cybersecurity module, I guess, converting that from the PowerPoint to HowToo. And they asked, if you needed a new hotspot in that slide, how would you do it?
Yeah, great question. So I'll actually go in there for you. So it's here. So my hotspot is here. So yeah, it's a great question. So you can actually just click on here. So based off where you click on the screen, the left panel will change. So say if I want to change the background, like I have to click here. But say, for example, the hotspots, I want to change that. So if I just scroll down, because this was scrollable, you can see that there's the 3 hotspots there. So for phishing, DOS attacks, and malware. So those are the ones that were preset. So when you hover over here, you can just see plus buttons, icons, sorry, which you can just click, and it'll add, where did that add? Oh, there we go, added. It adds it right, like pretty much smack bang in the middle of your hotspot image. So now that that's added, I can even add more if I want to. So if I want to move that over there, I can add another one, which will add another one. Oh yeah, there we go. Adds another one. So then from that, I can just click into each. Let's do it. And then I can edit the content directly there. So yeah, really easy to add hotspots. And that goes with any interaction really. Like, obviously interactions are different. So like, you know, you can't, if you want to change the feedback on this section, there's going to be another parameter on the left-hand side to change that, and it'll change the preview on the right-hand side. So it's just about clicking really on the interaction within HowToo, and then the left panel should, you'll be able to change what that content is or the interaction as well. Cool. Hopefully that answers your question.
Leslie's just asked a great question, which I think we should try and squeeze in the last 2 minutes, which was, due to the nature of our business, some of our courses are required to include a lot of background information and instructions. What layout would you recommend to avoid overdoing a wall of text course?
Great question again. So I'll go to my sample. Yeah. Everyone obviously doesn't, like I said, no one wants to read. It's like, you know, a big chunk of text. It's like, you know, very off-putting. So I don't think there's one, you know, specific way of doing it. I think for me, you know, I like to just look at the content first and see. I think it's content dependent. But like say, for example, if I'd probably use, another interaction. So maybe like a click and reveal, if there was different concepts, say, for example, within your background of information and instructions that, you could split up. Maybe you can choose a click and reveal block. So that way it breaks up the content and the user can actually click on each overlay. So say, for example, I just choose click and reveal at the beginning and, I can just do like an intro background. Obviously, there's a space here to enter some text, which you can. And if you can split up the content, I would. I think that's probably where I'm getting at. Like if you can try split it up, if it's either on the interaction itself, so splitting up the content, you can, touching on the last point, like you can add more sections. But even if you can split it, I think what we've done in the past is also split up the content over like 2 slides, for example. Like I said, you got to consider each component on the screen. I don't want to, I guess a designer's perspective is that I don't want to clutter like one screen. Like I think if you can split it over multiple screens, multiple interactions, that will probably solve the problem. And I think that's more engaging for the learner instead of just, just having a wall of text. So you just got to consider how you can split it up, I feel like.
Another, just to add there, you can also add resources into courses so that your learners do reading separately if it's impossible to get all your instructions and information within the learning module.
Yeah, so that's a great point, Siobhan. So even with the settings, you can go into resources and upload resources as well. And that way you can, add documents in there. So say, for example, in your instance where you have background information, you can have, a PDF in there, which you can upload and link. You can actually grab that URL and you can even just say, for example, if I just click X, go to my block where there was an intro and just say, please refer to the doc for more information, for example. And then now that I've grabbed that link from the resource, I can even just, hyperlink this and, chuck my link in, for example. And then that, the user can click on that and then they'll link to the resource. So it's, you can do it that way as well. So that was a good point.